Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video, I have a little something for you to try. Alright, cool. So this comes from hanging out with somebody, and I actually discovered this. I can back up. I discovered this myself, and a while back. I discovered this myself a while back, and what I discovered is that something for you to try is for you to stop apologizing. I realized that I apologize way too much, or did apologize way too much. And I took a look at that. I started to notice something was going on when I was saying sorry. And so part of the spirit of this work is like an open investigation. So I started taking a look into my experience and taking a look at, like what actually happens when I'm saying sorry. And a few things occurred to me. One is that it was like slightly demeaning, as if somehow demeaning my existence. So I stopped apologizing. Now, granted, it does seem to me that every so often an apology is appropriate. But what I noticed when I stopped apologizing is that I then had to start taking a little bit more responsibility for my experience, because when I was apologizing, it was as if letting me off the hook for stuff that I felt for some reason I was like in the wrong. And when I stopped apologizing, I had to then confront in some small way that I did something. Not I did something, oh, I'm sorry for doing something. You see the difference, for example? I did something is a lot different than, oh, sorry, I did a thing. You see how it's like the person that I am being when I am apologizing is like a less powerful, or a demeaned, or a put down. It's like putting myself down or making myself smaller. For what? And so when I stopped apologizing, I started to notice, oh yeah, I do this thing about myself where I make myself smaller. And I had to confront stuff in myself, or take a look at stuff in myself that I was like, wait a minute, why am I even doing that? What function does that even serve? For example, what function does that serve to make myself smaller for no reason? Like, I'm sorry for existing, I apologize just for being here, and I started to notice that stuff, like perhaps background. And it didn't really show up until I cut it out. I stopped apologizing. So now with my significant, my intimate partner, we decided to just stop doing that. Now, okay, every so often, apology is a good thing to do, but by and large, if we say sorry, we're like, what is that? Why are you apologizing? And we call each other out on it, which I personally enjoy quite a bit, that I get to be with somebody that does that with me. See, and I started to notice, and then so I also started to notice how much other people do it in their lives. And if you stop apologizing, which I would invite you to do, you don't have to, but hey, check it out. Just like straight up stop saying sorry for everything that you do. Stop apologizing, period. And accept the consequences. Perhaps that I think is probably the number one thing I have been noticing in this endeavor is there are consequences. I do something, there's consequences. And if I apologize for it, it lets me off the hook. But if I do it, then I don't apologize, I unapologetically do the thing that I'm doing, I have to face the consequences, and that's different than constantly being like, ooh, I'm sorry, ooh, I'm sorry, ooh, I'm sorry, and it letting me off the hook, whereas in this other alternative is like facing up, owning up to being more responsible for my actions. And stop on apologizing for what? For the littlest things. And it's changed my outlook a little bit. So that is an invitation and something for you to check out. I think it's kind of fun. Just a little tidbit. Something you can try out and then see what happens, because I definitely notice people apologize, and also, how generalizing here, how many women do it like crazy. And I think it doesn't serve. I don't see a reason to apologize so much. I don't see a reason to feel bad for existing the way that you do, say, or the way that I do. It's like, why should I feel bad just for being here? As if there's some right way to be, and somehow I don't stack up, and so I need to apologize too frequently. So I think it's useful to check that. Kind of like, I've got a story one time, Peter issued a challenge to me. This is a ways back when I was an apprentice. He said, all right, here's a challenge for you. Stop swearing for a year. I said, okay. And I cut it out. Boom. Now, I swear a lot. And cut it out for a year. And it was interesting. I noticed something when I did that. I noticed that I was actually in a lot of pain. And the swearing was an expression of all this pain. And I wouldn't have realized that had I not did this little experiment, like cut it off for a year. See, it changed my mind a little bit. It was fascinating. And I swore maybe like 4 times in that time. You know, every so often I'd slip up and be like, oops. Yeah? Because there's something with language. You see, the language, the mind is expressed via language a lot. And the person, see the person? Woo, comes out the mouth. The way that the person thinks has a lot to do with the way that they speak. The way that they are has a lot to do with what they represent via their language. It's like a window into somebody's mind. You can tell a lot about somebody by the way that they talk and what they talk about, as if. See, so if you start monkeying with that, it will have an effect on your mind, you see. So if you stop apologizing, something similar may occur for you, may not. But you don't know until you try it out. All right, so that's this video, small invitation, something I found fascinating and something you can play around with, and something that I do think will empower you as a human being if you take it on, because I think it will have you confront that you don't need to say sorry for like 99% of the stuff you think you do. And then you can just be and do stuff. And it's not a sorry situation. It's a I did something situation. Okay? So there you go. That's this video. Much love. Check it out. See what you can create with that. And feel free to hit me up in the comments if you have something to say about this, or you discover something. More importantly, I want to know what you discover. You know, there are, every so often there's like a lot of comments that come through and my video. Well, maybe not too many comments, but in spiritual circles for sure. And the commentary is by and large worthless, and I'm sure you've noticed this by now. I'm concerned with what you discover. That I don't think is worthless. Very often people use commentary as a way to express themselves and or jab, or I don't know. They do stuff with the comments that just doesn't serve anything and it looks stupid. But your discoveries, I do not hold in that same regard. If you discover something, hey, cool, let me know. I want to know. Or write me an email. All that stuff, you can check out the links in the description of the video. Also, if you want to contribute to my forum, you're invited to do that. Ask me a question. It helps me provide content for you. And if you actually want to get more serious, come here and do a workshop. They're very powerful events that we host in the spring and in the fall. And lastly, if you want to come do some boxing, I will be doing a little boxing camp here in February. Let me know. Write me. Links in the description. Okay, thanks. Much love. Take care. Let me know. How it goes with your sorry, not sorriness. Take care. Talk soon.